right. I mean, come on. Welcome to Classified Captures. This is your host, Steve, and by the way, I'm sorry about the wife-beater tank top, but it is hot as hell in this studio right now, and you can't put air conditioning on because if you do, it bleeds through the mic and you just get this gigantic noise, so I'm sorry about that, but it's just one of those things. Anyway, let's go on with the show. Now, I said this episode I'd do a bunch of shout-outs. Let's get into it. Jennifer Schobel, shout-out. Hey, Steve, Jennifer Schobel here. Sorry, Jennifer. Love your view on paranormals and the absurd. Enthusiastically give your insightful commentary to every episode. Keep your eye on the skies, or you may be the next abductee. Well, that would be hell, right? Huh. Or would it be? Hi, Steve. I'd love a shout-out. I'm Allison, hailing from Denver, Colorado. How's it going, Allison? Thanks for watching. I watch your channel every day. Also love to know where you're from. I am halfway between America and England. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say, which is why my accent is kind of half-half sometimes. From TX Missy, hi Steve. Before you came out, I needed to put a face to the sexy voice. Well, thank you very much. And she's a Texas woman, Hispanic. Cool. Hi, Steve. I'm from Blackpool, England. Can I have a shout out, please? I absolutely love your show. JK, keep on entertaining us. JK, nice to Blackpool, England. Very cool. Been there a few times. Brandy Duria, 1999. Shout out, please. I love watching spooky and weird videos. My husband told me I had to watch Classified Captures. I've been hooked ever since. Please give a shout out to... I can't even read that. Anyway, Brandy, happy, hope you're having fun. Amanda Williams, 5835. Shout out to Amanda from East End of London. All right, Amanda, how's it going, darling? Crystal QI3DP. Shout out, Steve. Love your channel. Despite your content, you help me relax at night enough to fall asleep. That's what I like to hear. Cynthia Cassidy. So, Steve, can I please get a shout out from Minnesota? You guys need to tell me exactly where everybody's from around the world. That would be very interesting. Hey, Cynthia, how you doing? Packager, shout out, g'day from Oz, Australia. Well, g'day to you, man. Hope you're digging the content. Little Chick 2128, shout out. Hey, little chick, and you're from Texas. Howdy from Texas. Scouse AA. Steve, I'd love a shout out, please. Well, you got it, Scouse. I take it that means that you're from England as well. Sunshine 2265TX. Steve is too sexy to be AI. I'd love a shout out from you, Steve. And you got one. So there's some shout outs for you for this week. Anyway, if you want a shout out, let me know. Something is happening in East Texas, and we need answers from anyone who was out there. An eyewitness captured this in the sky, and it's difficult to explain. What you're looking at is a massive dark figure, and when I say massive, I mean it takes up a huge portion of the sky. From it, these lights are coming through. Now here's where it gets confusing. It could be an unusual cloud formation with some kind of atmospheric or electrical effect behind it, but at the same time it almost looks like a silhouette of something far bigger. The shape is what throws people off. The scale makes it even harder to ignore. Now if you're in East Texas and you saw this with your own eyes, tell us what it looked like from the ground, because this footage alone is not giving us a clear answer.
Yo, something big is finna happen, bro.
Did you see that?
From the moment they moved in, something felt off. This was supposed to be a fresh start, a new space, a new home, but whatever is in that house came with it. You saw it, didn't you? The thing is, we at least thought we saw something. It's not directly visible, but we heard and felt it. They say it doesn't try to hurt them. It doesn't attack, it just shows up every evening, getting closer each time. If this footage is real, then this is not a one-time encounter. It's a pattern. And whatever is approaching him right now knows exactly what it's doing. They've refused to move out, citing it's their dream home. They want help identifying and dealing with whatever's causing the issue. You've seen the clip, so what's your take?
Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Come on. It looks interesting from afar, but, give me a break here. I'm not even gonna say the words, everybody knows what this is. Ooh. That's one creepy looking face right there. I mean, this is Salem's Lot kind of stuff. Ooh. Yeah, all right. I get your point. Move the camera back. She's scary, I get it. She looks like one of my girlfriends after a night on the town waking up next to me with a hangover. I get it. I get it. What the hell is that all about? She's called Candlelit. If you ask me, if you take the Oceanic part away, you got it more right. She's a famous vampiric ghost in Indonesian, Malaysian, and Southeast Asian folklore. Her screams make grown men cry. Well, if I woke up next to that in the morning, it would make me cry. A group of friends were camping in a house when one of them opened the door and saw their dog standing outside staring in. Same dog, same markings, same look. The problem is, their dog was already inside the room with them. You can't even see it. The real one is right there behind them while something identical stands in the doorway. They laugh it off, which might be the worst possible reaction, because what's standing outside is doing a very convincing imitation, and that lines up with how skinwalkers are described. Entities from the Navajo tradition are said to mimic animals, even domestic ones, but the imitation is never perfect. And if you look closely at the one in the doorway, something feels off. The footage cuts right after this. What matters is what they did next and whether they realized too late that they were not looking at their dog anymore.
Okay, that was good.
Something strange was caught falling from the sky over Manchester, and the witness filmed it more than once because it kept happening. What they captured looks like trees falling from the sky. Not one, but multiple objects. When they zoomed in, they showed this branching, elongated shape that almost resembles a tree dropping through the air, then another, and then another. All of them falling from the same general area of the sky, yet there's nothing visible above them that explains where they're coming from. At this point, there's no clear explanation for what these objects are or how something tree-shaped could be falling over a city like this. If anyone in Manchester saw this firsthand, what did it look like and sound like from the ground? Because this footage raises more questions than answers. Two images have surfaced and they are already sparking debate. The first shows a man holding what appears to be a small Sasquatch, almost like a juvenile version of the creature. The second shows the same man standing beside a full-grown Bigfoot, side by side. The quality and style of the images suggest they may not be recent, though it's difficult to confirm. If these are real, well, then this goes beyond a sighting. It would suggest direct contact, a person who's actually been close enough to these creatures to interact with them. That is a very different claim from a distant encounter in the woods. But that's also why the questions start piling up. Are these real photographs, stage costumes, props, or something altered digitally? Because right now, everyone is looking at the same thing and coming to a very different conclusion. A family's security camera caught something subtle happening in their living room, something you only really notice after watching it more than once. The dog is lying on its mat, calm and settled, when it suddenly jerks awake. If you rewind and watch closely, there's a shadow-like movement along the far side of the frame just before the dog reacts. The dog turns towards it, stands up, and walks directly toward the kitchen. Then something else happens. That same shadow-like movement appears again, this time on the left side of the frame in the direction the dog just moved. Whatever it was, it moved across the room, and the dog followed it the entire time. Animals reacting to things we cannot see is not new, but footage like this is exactly why those reactions are taken seriously. Because the question is not just what moved through the house, it's whether something really did. Okay, we need to take a second away from everything else because this just made the whole day better. This duck is not eating its food the normal way. Instead, it scoops feed into its mouth, dips it into the water, and lets the fish eat from it below. Like it's sharing on purpose. The fish gets a meal, the duck keeps going, and somehow it turns into this quiet little moment of cooperation in a pond. Honestly, we all need to see the duck being this considerate on an ordinary afternoon. Animals really do surprise you when you least expect it. Oil rig workers in the middle of the ocean filmed this, and the location itself is already raising eyebrows. The two saucer-shaped craft can be seen moving across the sky above the water. Then two more objects appear behind them, following in the same direction, almost like they are in pursuit. And that's where the debate starts. Are those trailing objects some form of human military response moving in to intercept what they're seeing in real time, or is something else happening entirely? The ocean has been mentioned repeatedly in recent discussions around UAP activity, especially cases involving objects entering and exiting water. For the workers on that rig, this was not a theory, it was happening right in front of them. And while questions about edited or AI-generated footage will always come up, the setting makes this harder to dismiss than most people would like. Because once you factor in what has been reported over water this year, the real question shifts, not whether something was seen, but what exactly was following what. This started as an adorable parenting moment, but the more you watch it, the more it raises questions. A father noticed something unusual. Every time he calls his wife's name, Gila, their baby daughter instantly falls asleep. He's filmed it multiple times. The baby could be crying or unsettled, and the moment the name is said, she just shuts down and drifts off. At first, it feels sweet, and honestly, it still does, but some viewers started wondering if there's more going on here. One explanation that came up is cataplexy, a rare condition linked to narcolepsy where the body can suddenly lose muscle tone, often triggered by strong emotional responses. It's extremely uncommon in infants, and in most cases what you're really seeing is a baby reacting to a familiar calming sound and settling very quickly. Still, the reactions are so immediate that it has people watching closely and debating what's actually happening here.
My baby literally has an off switch, like she's hypnotized. Whenever I call for my wife's name, she knocks out. Watch. Ready? Okay. Gila!
Just Gila and then out. So I don't know what this is about. If anyone has any experience, if they can let me know. And this one, she hit her head. Gila. 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 Gila.
Oh man. Now if that guy was cooking a steak on the barbecue, some great big nice piece of Kobe I want a Kobe steak now. Yeah, so if he was cooking a Kobe steak or something on there, that would be gone, finished, ended. Well, actually, no, if it was me, I'd pick it up and keep on cooking. Now, we've been seeing more and more of these lately, and nobody seems to have a clear answer. Strange neon lights, laser beams, and rotating patterns floating over communities in the dead of night. And this particular clip shows red laser-like beams slowly rotating over an entire neighborhood. There are a few possible explanations. On the human technology side, some believe this could be aerial scanning or atmospheric testing equipment used during night operations, often to avoid drawing attention. That could potentially explain the controlled rotation pattern. But then there's the other side of the conversation. Because similar footage has been linked to UFO sightings, especially when the source of the light is never clearly visible. Right now, there's no confirmed explanation. So the question is simple. Has anyone else seen anything like this in your area? A telescope was pointed towards space, and this is what came back. Tiny, flickering, glittering objects drifting through what should be empty space. When you zoom in, they seem to shimmer and move in a way that almost feels alive, and that's exactly why this footage has split opinions so sharply. Some people are convinced these are extraterrestrial in origin, others say they resemble descriptions found in religious texts, often interpreted as angelic beings. And then there are those who believe this is far simpler, light reflecting off particles, dust, or debris at a distance. Visually, it's striking either way, but the question of what these are has not been settled, because once you strip away interpretation, all you're left with is something moving in space that nobody can clearly explain. This woman lives alone in an RV, and what was captured inside it has people going over the footage again and again. She's in the kitchen, going through her cabinets, when something appears behind her near the bathroom area. At first, it's easy to miss, but when you slow it down, you can make out a head, a shoulder, arms emerging from behind hanging clothes. Then, just as quickly, it disappears back out of sight. She notices nothing in the moment. She picks up a camera and moves to check the bathroom area herself, but there's nobody there. The RV is small, there's no obvious way for someone to move in and out of the space without being seen, and no visible exit route after whatever this was vanished. When she turns back toward the kitchen, things have changed. Objects are knocked over, the space looks disturbed, as if something moved through it while she was gone for only a few seconds. On playback, the figure appears as dark as a silhouette with what looks like horn-like shapes on its head. And that's why the reactions online have been so intense. Some are calling it something far more sinister, but what is actually in that RV is still not clear. And the footage doesn't give an answer, only a closer look at something that should not have been there at all.
What the f***? Nothing behind the door. What the f***? What the f*** is going on?
In March 2026, two men went out in a field at night after spotting a glowing light that seemed to have landed nearby. What they found has sparked intense debate. In a ditch, they claimed to have seen a creature with long, oversized head and bluish tone to its skin. It resembles the classic gray alien description, but with a distinct blue coloring. They stayed at a distance, but say the shape was clear enough to make out. Then a second figure appeared behind it. This one was taller, noticeably so, and it appeared to be glowing. When the men pointed their flashlight toward it, the figure revealed pale, thin proportions with long, narrow arms. The moment it started moving toward them, they turned the lights away and ran. The footage becomes heavily blurred after that point, leaving the ending unclear. Now, the question being argued online is simple. Was this a genuine encounter or something generated or staged? Because right now, the clip is convincing enough that people cannot agree on what they're actually looking at. There's a claim circulating online that Oliver Tree passed away on June the 15th of this year, but there's no verified information or credible reporting to support that. What actually sparked discussion is something else entirely. Not long before this rumor began spreading, he publicly mentioned that his upcoming album with Atlantic Records was being shelved, and that behind the scenes things had become, in his words, strange enough that he no longer wanted to continue the collaboration. He didn't go into detail about what that meant, but online that silence has been filled in by speculation. Some people are linking it to a familiar narrative seen in conspiracy circles, where artists who speak about industry issues are later said to disappear or fall silent under suspicious circumstances. That's where the conversation has drifted. In reality, there's no confirmed evidence of any of the more extreme claims being made, but it's another example of how quickly uncertainty and speculation can spread when public figures make vague statements and then step back from projects. And once that gap is there, people tend to fill it in with their own explanations.
I just got word that my album is no longer coming out. Love You Madly, Hate You Badly is officially canceled, and I'm parting ways with Atlantic Records. Behind the scenes has been nothing short of a nightmare. I have no marketing budgets for music videos, no digital ad spend. Nobody really cares in the building, it seems like. I made a lot of money for Atlantic Records, and they don't seem to remember that. I have gotten no support. They forgot to ingest multiple songs into the system, which means the songs didn't come out. I had a Valentine's Day breakout song that didn't even get released because someone forgot to put it in. I don't really understand how that's possible. I've made them tens of millions of dollars, but they don't remember that. So, the music is owned by them. The remainder of the music will not be coming out. I will always continue to make music. Thank you for everyone who's supported me. I can't wait to release more music at some point at a later time, but for now, there is nothing on the horizon. I'm so sorry, and I love you guys.
Bob Lazar is a name that keeps coming up in UFO discussions, and his claims remain some of the most detailed ever made in this space. He describes himself as a reverse engineering physicist who was brought in to study an extraterrestrial craft, and in this interview he explains what the inside looked like. According to him, the interior was completely smooth, almost as if it had been melted and set in place. No seams, no panels, no visible construction points. He also mentions the scale. At around 5'4", he says the craft felt like it was designed for someone even taller than him. Whatever was inside or operating it was not built to human proportions. That detail lines up with the recurring descriptions and other alleged encounters. Bob Lazar has repeated this account since the late 1980s, and his story has remained consistent over time. Whether it's to be believed or not, it's one of the most specific descriptions ever given about what the inside of a non-human craft might look like.
There are no right angles anywhere. It's as if somebody took, I've said this before, somebody took a model and fashioned it out of wax and then heated it just for a short time so everything melted. Everything looks like it's fused together. Everything has a radius of curvature where two items meet. It's a really weird looking thing.
One of you sent this in asking whether it was real, so let us break it down honestly. At first glance, the footage is striking. There's a clear outline of what looks like a craft sitting behind a cloud layer, with edges catching light in a way that makes the shape unusually defined. It's the kind of image that immediately pulls attention, but the longer you watch it, the more something feels off. The movement does not behave like normal camera footage. The frame rate and motion consistency seems slightly unnatural, and that's what many viewers are pointing to was a possible sign of CGI or AGI generation. Because of that, the most likely explanation right now leans toward digital creation. Still, if it were real, this would rank amongst the clearest UAP captures ever recorded, and that's why it's getting so much attention. Not just for what it shows, but for how easily it could change depending on what you believe you're looking at. An eyewitness in Stuttgart, Germany filmed these objects in the sky. When zoomed in, they appear to have a capsule-like shape, though some viewers described them as saucer-like instead. At that distance, it's difficult to be certain about the exact form, which is often the problem with aerial footage like this. What can be said is that the objects do not immediately resemble conventional aircraft or anything normally seen operating in that airspace. It could be something as simple as a hot air balloon or something entirely different. Germany, and specifically Stuttgart, has had its share of unexplained aerial sightings over the years, many of which were never formally identified. Whether this is one of those cases or something far more ordinary is still unclear. But it's the kind of footage that keeps the debate going. A home surveillance camera recorded something truly chilling. The room is dimly lit, with only the faint glow of the TV casting light. But focus on the right side of the screen. A shadowy figure is standing there, its back turned to the TV. Then out of nowhere, an unseen force violently drags the figure across the floor and straight into the wall by the TV. Take a closer look. What on earth could be happening here? Is this evidence of paranormal activity, or is there a more rational explanation that we are missing? There are many strange instances that sometimes seem too bizarre to be mere coincidences. Listen to these unusual stories and tell me what you think about them. Back in 2020, a fan of the rapper Boozy Badass attended one of his concerts. During the concert, there was an emergency and the rapper needed insulin.
Coincidentally, this woman happened to have the exact dose he required. She willingly gave it to him without asking for any compensation except for a photo with him. On her way home from the concert, she bought a scratch-off ticket and won $10,000. If you think that's crazy, listen to this next story. There lived a man named Walter Summerfoot. Walter had been struck by lightning a few times during his life, but even after his death, the bizarre occurrences continued. Lightning struck his grave one last time, as if he had offended the heavens. In another shocking situation back in 1997, a flight had a layover, and when it was time to continue the journey, a Spanish lady refused to board the plane and instead stayed at the layover location, which was not permitted. That choice ultimately saved her life, as the flight experienced the deadliest collision in aviation history, resulting in 583 casualties. It seemed it just wasn't her time to go. Let's take another astonishing story from 1935. A fisherman in Australia caught a tiger shark, which was put on display at an aquarium in Sydney. While the shark was on display, it vomited a human arm. We know sharks are predators, but this arm wasn't bitten off, it had been cut off. This led to an investigation, and the actual perpetrators were caught and sentenced. These stories are indeed incredible, but how is this even possible? Do you believe they're true?
My ladder is walking by itself. No joke. Yeah, I ain't never seen no like this.
If objects could talk, I'm sure they'd have a lot to say, just like in this footage right here. A man was working with a ladder, had it set down, and went to do something else. When he returned, he found this. The ladder was moving on its own. Just look at that. There's no strings attached, no one nearby pulling it, nothing. You could even see the shadow of the ladder moving on the floor, clearly showing no signs of trickery. No wires or strings attached whatsoever. I'm not sure what this man uses the ladder for, but it seems like the ladder is tired and trying to escape from work. Either that or this man deserves some lashes for telling lies, which I think he is telling, by the way.
My ladder is walking by itself. No joke. Yeah, I ain't never seen no like this.
We're looking at souls inside the dust particles, because why is it so bright? Look at them. I'm zooming again. Yeah, that's bright as hell. No, bro, that can't.
This footage was taken by a group of people walking through the city one night when they noticed something truly strange. Two beams of light were shooting into the sky, and around those beams were tiny shiny orbs flying in a mesmerizing pattern. The person who recorded the footage claims that there are orbs and they are souls. In the comments of the video, one person shared an eerie experience of their own, writing, "I went up on the rooftop on 9/11 to the building on Wall Street, and yes, this can be seen. I don't think it's birds or bugs. I think it's the souls of people who have tragically passed away. It's certainly a chilling idea, tiny orbs, souls of the departed rising into the sky. But could there be another explanation? What do you think? Could these orbs really be the souls of those who have lost their lives, or is there something else at play?"
We're looking at souls inside the dust particles, because why is it so bright? Look at them. I'm zooming again. Yeah, that's bright as hell. No, bro, that can't.
A family had been hearing footsteps in their home late at night and wanted to figure out what or who was causing the noise. So they decided to pour powder on the section of the hallway floor and set up a camera to capture any activity. Now, watch this. After some time, footprints started to appear in the power, bare, human-shaped prints. But here's the twist. The family insists no one was there. At first glance, this seems pretty convincing, but when you look closely, it becomes clear that the footage has been edited. Sorry to disappoint, but this is fake footage. A man was relaxing in his home when he suddenly heard the doorbell ring. Curiously, he went to check, but to his surprise, there was no one at the door. So he decided to keep an eye on the doorbell video feed to see if anything unusual would happen. What he discovered was bizarre. As he watched the footage, he noticed a series of strange gurgling and growling sounds echoing eerily around the entrance. His attention was suddenly drawn to a peculiar flickering light that appeared right in front of his porch. Some people speculated that this might be the work of a supernatural entity trying to lure him and his family outside, but others with a more skeptical approach pointed out some important details. When you look at the side of the porch, there is a bucket filled with skulls and a long table decorated in a peculiar manner. This looks like Halloween decorations, and the flickering lights are a speaker with LED lights for the noises. Instead of a paranormal event, it seems more plausible that this is a Halloween prank, not a paranormal encounter. At this point, not much seems to surprise me anymore, especially when AI and technology are involved. Just take a look at this footage. Engineers have created a robot that looks exactly like Donald Trump. And when I say it looks real, I mean really real. It's not just Trump either. There are quite a few other public figures who have been replicated using AI and robotics, and it's starting to get eerie. These replicas are so lifelike that it makes you wonder about some of the strange behaviors we sometimes see from these big personalities in public. Could it be that we're hearing robots instead of real people to maintain appearances? While the experts do the talking in the comments section, allow me to show you this. This is an alleged UFO sighting that popped up in my feed. Initially, I was excited because Aaron is the one who brings those clips. I wanted something genuine and authentic from myself, but the more I looked at this, the more I felt it was not really or genuine. In a bid to avoid being laughed at or teased, I added this discreetly to our list of clips for the day. So you've seen it. Do you think it's genuine? Let me know in the comments section. A little disclaimer though, I have a hard time believing this is a real deal. That's out of the way, let's hear your thoughts. There have been countless strange events caught on camera over the years, but some of the most intriguing ones happened during live sports broadcasts. These aren't your average fumbles. Some of these moments genuinely leave people wondering if we're witnessing glitches in the simulation. Take a look at a few of these clips. In one basketball game, a player has the ball in his hand and two defenders are closely marking him. But then, out of nowhere, the man behind him suddenly has the ball, even though he never reaches out or makes any obvious move to take it. It's like the ball just appeared in his hands. How does that even happen? Then there's this football match where a player clearly kicks the ball out of the goal, but somehow it ends up counting as a goal anyway. What's even weirder is the goalkeeper's reaction. He's just standing there staring into space like he's frozen or in a trance, completely unresponsive. Another clip shows two players who fall the exact same way, then get up at the same time, mimicking each other perfectly as if they were controlled by the same invisible force. And then there's a goalkeeper who catches the ball only for the ball to simultaneously be bouncing off the top bar of the goal and flying away. It's like two realities are overlapping at once. What is going on in these sports clips? Are they just editing tricks, or could there be something deeper, like a glitch in the Matrix? You decide. This next piece of footage comes from Australia, specifically the Brindabella National Park, and it's just the kind of thing that'll make you think twice about camping deep in the woods. A man went out for a camping trip with his dog, and during the day, everything seemed normal. They took a long hike and enjoyed the peaceful surroundings, and by nightfall, he began setting up camp. And that's when things took a strange turn. His dog, normally calm, started acting very uneasy. It kept staring in one specific direction into the dark woods, not barking, just frozen on alert. Curious and a little concerned, the man looked toward where the dog was focused, and that's when he saw it. A pair of glowing eyes in the darkness, staring right back at them. The body of whatever this was remained hidden in the shadows, only the eyes reflecting in the dark gave it away. The man noted that whatever it was, it didn't seem to want to come any closer, but it wasn't leaving anyway. It just stood there watching. Feeling increasingly uncomfortable and sensing that his dog wasn't calming down, he made the decision to pack up and leave, and to this day he says he still has no idea what was out in the woods there with him. Now, the paranormal community believes this might have been a cryptid, perhaps something like a yowie, Australians' version of Bigfoot. On the other hand, skeptics argue it could have just been a nocturnal animal like a possum, wild dog, or an owl. Their eyes naturally glow when hit with light at night. The uploader doesn't think so, though. But what do you guys see? A security guard stationed at Suvarnabhumi Airport in Thailand captured some intriguing footage and decided to share it online. While conducting his routine rounds, he came across a group of individuals calmly walking along a section of the terminal's pavement, much like passengers disembarking from a plane. However, the eerie detail was that there was no plane in sight. This happened in the Suvarnabhumi Airport in Bangkok. This place is said to be haunted, with numerous chilling tales and ghost stories surrounding the locals. Over the years, locals have reported various encounters leading to the construction of altars and shrines throughout the area to appease the restless spirits believed to inhabit it. It's undeniably creepy. This particular clip is one I need help with. My team is being divided on it. The clip starts off looking normal with what looks like the tail of a cat swinging. Just then another cat walks past and moves through the curtain to the other side. And that's when it gets weird. Just as the cat enters the other side, a shadow-like figure comes from the other side with glowing eyes to the same room the cat has just left. The one who uploaded the footage states that he was just reviewing footage from the security cameras in the room when he came across this. Naturally, it's got him spooked and searching for answers. And with this one, I personally asked Julius to come and take a look, and he thinks it's possibly the reflection of the cat on the floor. Aaron, on the other hand, states it could be an evil spirit, which is the cause of the divided opinions. There are some in the team who sided with Julius and some who sided with Aaron. What do you guys think, and who do you side with, or do you have your own theories? Let's hear you in the comments section. When we were kids, we were taught that matter comes in 3 basic states: solid, liquid, and gas. But science doesn't stand still, and what we once believed to be simple is now evolving fast. Recently, a team of scientists in Italy has done something mind-blowing. They've turned light into a solid, light. Something we've always thought of as intangible and impossible to touch now behaves like a quantum supersolid. So what exactly does that mean? Using advanced quantum physics, researchers created a strange new form of matter where light particles are manipulated in a way that allows them to behave like both a liquid and a solid at the same time. The light still flows like a liquid, but it also arranges itself into a fixed, repeated pattern just like atoms in a solid structure. What's even crazier is that this form of light can interact with touch. In theory, you could feel or even manipulate it. It challenges everything we thought we knew about the nature of reality. So if light can become solid, how many other laws of physics will be rewritten in the years to come? This next footage is wild. It was shared by a passenger flying on a night flight, just casually looking out of the window, when suddenly they spotted something flying alongside the plane. And it's not just a speck or a blur, this thing is clearly visible, and it's definitely not a regular aircraft. It's shaped like a diamond with smooth edges and a steady glide, and there are no visible wings, rotors, or blinking aircraft lights. It doesn't move like a commercial plane, and it doesn't hum like a drone. It's just there, floating, keeping pace. Some viewers say this is undeniably a UFO. Others suggest it might be secret military tech being tested, or even a classified drone we don't yet know about. Still, the shape, the motion, and the eerie way it seems to glide silently by the plane makes it feel otherworldly. Diamond-shaped UFOs have been reported before, but this is the first time we've actually got one on camera like this. You've seen the clip, so what do you think? This woman shared a chilling experience and discovery from her property in upstate New York. One day, she was outside with her dogs when she heard her neighbor calling her name. Thinking he needed help, she headed toward the voice. Then, something felt off. It was coming from deep inside the woods. Confused, she texted her neighbor, and guess what? He said he wasn't even home. The voice sounded exactly like him, though. This has all the hallmarks of a mimic encounter, doesn't it? Mimics are infamous for imitating human voices to lure unsuspecting victims, but there's something even more unsettling about this story. The woman, a farmer, owns a property with a barn. While walking her land, she stumbled across something odd: 4-foot-deep crevices running along the edges of her property. These crevices weren't natural, they were deliberately filled with wooden debris. And here's the kicker, they were already there when she bought the place. Her gut tells her that whoever owned the land before her wasn't just dealing with an ordinary pest problem. Were they trying to keep something out? Or worse, keep something in? Could mimics be the reason for these eerie defenses? What's your take on it?
But this is kind of how a lot of them are. Like, I didn't put any of this stuff in these crevices. Trees grow up, like, I mean, it goes down, like right there is 3 feet, from 4 feet. And I didn't put any of this stuff in here. This was all here because of the farmer. I guess maybe he did it.
Let's take a look at this footage. A man was out alone one night exploring the woods when he stumbled upon this abandoned boat sitting on land. It looked out of place, and inside the boat were boxes and random items scattered around. As he walked around the boat, he passed by a wide open window. Suddenly, something inside the boat moved. You can see it. It's a figure shifting in the darkness. The man panicked and bolted out there, clearly shaken. Now, let's replay that moment. It's dark, so we can't make out much detail, but you can see what looks like brown fur, broad shoulders, and arms. Some people think this is an alien, but honestly, it might just be a bear taking shelter. What do you think? A man had visited an old abandoned school just out of curiosity, or, well, maybe for the thrill of it. While walking around the empty building, he noticed that the lights in one of the classrooms were flickering on and off. At first, he thought, well, maybe it was faulty wiring. But as he got closer, the lights stopped blinking and stayed on. Now that was odd. The school had been vacant for years, so no power should be running. Feeling uneasy, he pulled out his phone and started filming through the classroom window, and that's when things got even weirder. His camera picked up movement on the far side of the room. Something was walking. It was tall, and the figure moved in this slow way. The image wasn't clear enough to see exactly what it was. It was too far late and far too quiet for anyone to be in there. So what exactly are we looking at here? A squatter? A prank? Or something far more sinister hiding in the abandoned classroom? Kindly share your thoughts.
Cuando yo estoy largo, pero cuando yo me acerco, mira lo que pasa. Ahorita se enciende y se apaga. Ahora mira, ahorita cuando me acerco, mira. Mira.
A woman bought these apples from Indiana, and just look at them. The apples are covered in deep cracks, almost like they've been dried out or stressed from the inside. It's honestly hard to look at. I've never seen apples like this before, and a lot of people online are saying the same thing. It's becoming more and more obvious that something strange is happening with our food supply. Whether it's the weather, soil quality, or something else entirely, the results are showing up right on our plates. This unspoken war on our food system just keeps getting worse. I'm tempted to recommend that each of us grow our own food. It sounds like a great idea until you realize it's impossible to grow all the food you need. So, what do we do?
Apples should not crack like this. This came from in Indiana. Something is happening to our food supply. I've never in my life seen this happen.
While you share your experiences, we head over to the island of Cozumel, where numerous sinkholes have opened up. The funny thing is, they allegedly appeared and then later disappeared at the same time. As if that was not weird enough, the sinkholes were also perfectly round, which has got everyone talking. Many have theories, with some claiming this was the sign of the end of times and what have you, but one word caught our attention: HAARP. Yes, the same one we mentioned when we spoke about the weather control. Coincidence? Well, Aaron thinks not, but what say you? There are times when you can catch a glimpse of the moon during the day. It might not be super clear, but it's definitely there. Well, one observer happened to spot it and began filming, and then something unexpected happened. In the video, something that looks like some sort of meteor or celestial object appears by the moon. Within seconds, it crashes straight into the moon, and you can actually see the impact. The side where it collides just comes apart, almost like an explosion, and the footage ends abruptly after that. Could this be an authentic moment of a meteor crashing into the moon, or is it clever video editing? On second thought, if something crashed into the moon, we would see it. So what's happening here? A family was jolted awake in the middle of the night by a loud banging sound coming from the bottom of the stairs. Thinking it might be an intruder, the man turned on the lights and cautiously stepped onto the staircase to check. He pointed his camera down the steps, but there was nothing but darkness. Then a few seconds later, heavy footsteps suddenly came charging up the stairs, very loud and fast, but we still couldn't see anything. The man clearly shaken, so he bolted backwards in fear, and even though we didn't see a figure on camera, it was obvious something was there. Some believe it might have just been an audio from somewhere else, but there's also the circulating theory that it could have been some kind of invisible entity. What's your take on this?
Hello?
Oh my God! Have you ever seen this footage before? This woman stands in front of a plant, gently speaking to it and asking it to move closer and touch her face, and then, unbelievably, it actually does. The plant slowly leans in like it heard her. Another woman nearby, intrigued, decides to try the same thing. She calmly asks the tree to come closer, and again, it responds. It slowly sways towards her and gently touches her face. Now, people are calling this a new form of New Age spirituality, a practice that reflects the deep connection between humans and nature. Some say it's about grounding energy, others believe it's proof the plants can sense intention, emotion, and even communication. Whether you believe it's science, spirituality, or something else entirely, one thing's for sure, there's something mysterious about this. Could it be that nature does listen more than we think?
Lower your branch and touch my shoulder, please. Lower, lower, and come and move closer to my voice, please. Can you come closer and move closer to my voice? Closer, closer, closer. Thank you.
Time travel has always been a fascinating concept involving moving through time. We've all seen it in sci-fi movies, but could it actually be real? Take a look at this intriguing footage from the 1980s. A woman in the crowd is seen using what looks like a mobile phone, and not just any phone. She's holding it sideways like she's recording in portrait mode. But mobile phones haven't even been invented yet at the time, and if that's not strange enough, notice the girl standing next to her. She looks completely shocked, staring at the device in disbelief. So what's going on here? How could this woman possibly be using a mobile phone decades before they were available? This isn't the only case either. There are other instances where people seem to be using futuristic devices way before their time. Could this be proof that time travelers exist, or is there some other explanation we've missed? I can't confirm the authenticity of this clip, but what do you think?
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
What the is this? Look at that.
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
What the
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
What the
Of the
Irrespective of where you're watching this from, you probably by now know that there's a war going on in the Middle East. Missiles are firing left and right, and it's not funny. What many do not know, however, is that some of the clips being shown on TV have some strange artifacts on them. If you've been paying attention to this clip, you should have seen it. There's a black tadpole-like object moving on the left side of the screen. At first, I thought this was not right, but there were many in the comments section of the post who saw it too. This has led to many theories in the online community. Some of them are strange and outright bizarre. Some think it's the spirit of death actively at work in the region being caught on camera. Some also think it might be demons instead. There are many who subscribe to the idea it's a jinn, an evil one to be precise. Some even mentioned aliens, but were not sure how to feel about that one. Did you watch this broadcast? Did you notice anything? If you did, let us know in the comments section.
of the incoming projectiles were intercepted
What
with
the
some
is this? Look at that. Look at that.
Some recent images have surfaced, and let's just say they're not your average military photographs. First up, China released a photograph of what appears to be a next-generation fighter jet. Sleek, angular, and futuristic in design, it screams stealth and speed. This isn't some prototype in a hangar, it's operational, or at least being paraded like it is, and it's not the only one. Shortly after, the US responded with its flex images of a high-tech warship, but not your typical one. This ship is equipped with laser weapons capable of taking out threats with surgical precision over long distances. When you look at these machines, sure, on the surface, it seems like a way to protect each country from modern threats, but when you think about it, these are weapons of war, weapons that can cause devastating damage, especially in the wrong hands. So the real question becomes, why now? Are we just preparing for possibilities, or are governments bracing for something specific? A global conflict, a rise in unconventional warfare, or something they're not telling us? Because if both sides are showing off these high-grade weapons so openly, it feels less like posturing and more like preparing. Sounds like a conspiracy, but think about it. Someone was out for a walk when they spotted something deeply unsettling on the ground. It was a long object wrapped tightly in a black garbage bag with a trail of dried, dark liquid leading away from it. The shape, the size, and the way it was bundled all pointed to one disturbing possibility. It looked exactly like a human body. Just looking at it, sends chills down your spine. This did not look like random trash someone tossed aside. It had the appearance of something deliberately hidden, something someone didn't want found. Hopefully the person who discovered it contacted the authorities right away, because whatever that was, it definitely did not seem normal. And if it really was what it appears to be, someone out there could be in serious danger. It's heartbreaking to see what's happening in LA right now. The fires are devastating homes, properties, and lives. But like so many things that happen in America, there are some odd details people may not have noticed. In one piece of footage, a woman was near the Palisades area by the coast where some of the fires reportedly started. She saw something strange in the ocean, a submerged object emerging briefly from under the water. She described it as a boat that surfaced momentarily before sinking again, leaving part of itself visible just above the waterline. What could it be? And what are the odds it appeared right where the fires began? In another video, someone was driving through a burning neighborhood, capturing the destruction. You can see a house completely engulfed in flames with a charred car beneath the tree, and yet the tree itself is untouched by the fire. How does that happen? The car is reduced to ashes, but the tree stands intact. Very strange, don't you think? And it gets even weirder. During a live TV broadcast covering the fires, have you noticed something unusual? A purple light glowing in the sky. Then off to the right, there was another glowing light, this one blue. What could these lights be? But here's the most bizarre part. In another live broadcast during a bird's eye view of the West Hills area, something zips across the screen. A UFO moving incredibly fast. Watch closely. It's there for just a split second, but it's unmistakable. With all these strange sightings and anomalies, it's clear there is something else going on out there. This footage was taken by a pedestrian in Mexico late at night. He was standing on the side of the road waiting for his vehicle when he noticed something unusual on the overpass ahead. There in the darkness, a pair of red glowing eyes stared back at him. Despite the dim lighting, you could make out the faint outline of a head, giving the eerie figure a distinct shape. In Mexico, the legend of the Mothman is well known. This was captured in one of the places where this mysterious creature has reportedly been sighting most frequently. The man who captured this footage is convinced that what he saw was, in fact, the infamous Mothman. Do you think this is true? Could this really be the Mothman? Or is there a more grounded explanation? I recently came across this video that said if you ever saw this in your house, leave immediately. My first reaction was to laugh and brush it off, but my paranormal genes just would not allow that. So against my will, I came back to investigate the video and realized this might be something we may have even featured in the past. Initially, I thought it was some ball of light going through the room, but Aaron, our conspiracy theorist, mentioned that the uploader felt it might be a ball of lightning, and that's when it all clicked. For those of you hearing it for the first time, a ball of lightning is a rare and mysterious phenomenon where a glowing floating sphere appears during thunderstorms lasting several seconds before vanishing or exploding. Though its cause isn't fully understood, scientists think it might be plasma, vaporized materials, or electromagnetic effects. Now, if you were to encounter something like that, you should definitely run. I looked at the video over and over and concluded that while it does bear some similarities to what we would consider a ball of lightning, this just isn't it. It felt edited to me. I felt if this was the real deal, the one filming wouldn't have had the opportunity to be in such a close space. Chances are he'd be gone before he'd ever consider filming. And by gone, I don't mean leave the room. Yeah, you get what I mean. Anyway, on to the next.
Aí galera do Kawaii, descobrimos fogo aqui na terra, aqui ó, do nada, cara. Não é mentira, me mexe aqui ó. Ó, quanto mais mexe, mais o fogo. Tem condição disso, cara?
This video is from Brazil and shows a group of men digging into the ground, maybe for farming. But as they dig deeper, something bizarre happens. Flames start shooting out of the soil, not smoke, not steam, actual flames. And the more they dig, the bigger the flames get. It's honestly unnerving to watch. Now, people are jumping to different conclusions. Some say it could be due to natural gas pockets trapped under the earth. Well, that's possible. Methane or other flammable gases can build up underground. All it takes is a spark or the right pressure for that gas to ignite. But others, especially in the paranormal and spiritual communities, believe this could be a sign of something more supernatural. Maybe some kind of spiritual curse or even a sacred burial ground being disturbed. In many cultures, it's believed that disturbing the wrong land can awaken forces that were never meant to be touched. So is this just science at work, or did they unknowingly trigger something ancient and powerful buried below? So, this may just be one of the strangest, most chaotic-looking clips we've had in a while. The clip starts off with a bunny playing, which is then interrupted by a pair of legs running at the right top corner of the frame. I mean, it's not every day you see a pair of legs run without the upper body, right? Reminds me of the statement, running around like a headless chicken, or, well, is it a footless chicken? I blame King Julian for my confusion. Anyway, the individual who recorded the clip insists that after the legs have gone past the tree, a shadow being appears. The shadow being part isn't very clear to me, but what do you guys think? We all know how devastating the wildfire situation in Los Angeles has been and how controlling these fires has become a significant challenge. Now take a look at this footage of firefighting drones in action. These drones are equipped with hoses, flying over the raging flames and even up to burning buildings, spraying liquid directly onto the fire. If America had access to this technology, could the wildfires have been extinguished much sooner? Maybe it's about time we allocate money and resources to the makers of inventions like these instead of pushing so much into weapons development. A family was flying over the ocean when one of them noticed something strange in the water below. At first, it looked like just a shadow beneath the waves, but then they realized it was moving. Whatever it was going the same direction as the plane. The woman who filmed it first thought it might be a shark. Well, that would make sense, right? But then someone else in the video says that's not a shark. And when you look closer, well, they might be right. This thing was huge and it was moving fast, way too fast for a normal sea creature, especially one so far below the surface. From the height they were flying, for it to even show up like that, it had to be massive. So what exactly did they see? A whale? Some kind of sea serpent? Or something else entirely?
It's a shark.
Stepping away from the tech of the future, let's take a good look at some clips of yesterday. This particular clip has been circulating in the paranormal circles for a while now, and it allegedly comes from Russia. Have you noticed why it's gone viral? No? Well, look again. There's a large spider-like creature moving on the building. The one who originally recorded this clip stated that he initially thought it couldn't be real, but as he recorded, it became evident that the thing was actually there. Not sure about you, but when I watch this, it looks like Spider-Man in a Venom suit. As the clip progresses, we see this creature drop to the ground, where he morphs into an ordinary-looking man. See how much it fits into my hypothesis. A similar clip has been recorded in the past at the same location. When I initially saw this, I assumed it was the same clip, but my editor showed me proof that it was not. See how different they are. It turns out that this new clip was uploaded by a relatively new account, and it tells the same story as the post I had seen in the past. The weird thing is, the old post, which could be traced as far back as 2009, has been wiped from the internet. Yeah. You basically can't find it hosted anywhere. Back in the day, it was rumored to have malware that affected the PCs of those who downloaded it. Not sure if that's why it disappeared, but it certainly is interesting. Our video editor suspects the current clip isn't genuine, though, but not everyone shares that sentiment. It's got more than 5 million views since it was uploaded. Anyway, you've seen the clip, so what do you think? At Fox Creek, Alberta, a man stumbled upon something unusual while walking near a sandy area by the water. The sand was soft and untouched, except for a set of massive footprints. These weren't your ordinary footprints. They were barefoot and human-like, but significantly larger, wider, and left deep impressions about 2 inches into the sand. Given the area's reputation for Bigfoot sightings, these prints seem to align with the numerous reports of the elusive creature in the region. Now, if you think that's strange, take a look at this next image. It was captured by a truck driver's dash cam in Alberta. The driver had pulled over to pick up some equipment, and as he stepped out of the truck, he noticed something that sent chills down his spine. This massive creature standing behind a tree. Panicked, he bolted back into his truck and drove away, but not before his dashcam recorded a glimpse of the mysterious figure. The creature was estimated to be around 10 feet tall, towering ominously behind the tree. These sightings add to the growing number of encounters with something extraordinary in Alberta. Could these really be signs of Bigfoot? Before you're tempted to click away, this is actually a paranormal clip. Wait a few seconds and there, see it? To your left in the corner, there's a pair of eyes staring at the woman. That's not exactly normal now, is it? We're not told where exactly this was filmed, only that it was filmed near the woods, and the woman appears to have been exercising or doing yoga. Not sure why she would choose such a location, but then again, there are people who feel much closer to nature. She had her session, went home, and wanted to review her clips. It was at that moment that she noticed that she was not alone in the woods. She uploaded it online seeking answers, but the paranormal community couldn't agree on what we were dealing with. Some thought it was a demon, others a possessed ape, and some an otherworldly being. Given the nature of the clip, I could understand where each of them was coming from. I went through the comments section of the original post and saw comments saying there was more than one set of eyes. One even mentioned there was 2 sets of eyes. This got me watching over and over until I could spot them. Can you? Despite the large number of individuals calling this clip legit, there were still some who believed that this had to be CGI. You've seen the clip. What do you think? There are still some things in this world that remain unexplainable and beyond understanding. Take a look at this mysterious footage, for instance. A man makes a small cut on his hand. You can clearly see it. Then he reaches over, rubs his finger against a nearby stone, and gently presses it on the wound. What happens next is shocking. The cut completely vanishes. No blood, no scar, as if the injury was never there in the first place. How is this even possible? Some viewers believe it could be a clever video trick like a seamless cut or a hidden bandage. Others are convinced this man may have some kind of ancient healing stone or energy-charged mineral. Until there's more evidence or a breakdown of how this is done, it remains one of those strange clips. What do you think?
Io pagherò scenerà vicino al nuovo. 12.
At this point, it really feels like everything around us is out to get us, including the very lights we use every single day. A recent study involving LED lights and fruit flies raised a lot of eyebrows. In this research, the flies were exposed to constant LED lightning, and after the experiment, scientists discovered something unsettling. The flies' lifespans were cut short by 50%. Now, think about that for a second. Half their life gone just from prolonged exposure to LED lights. Of course, fruit flies aren't human. However, they're often used in scientific research because they share a surprising amount of genetic similarities with us, and their short life cycles help researchers study long-term effects quickly. So if LED exposure could dramatically affect them, even in a lab setting, could it be doing something to us too, just more slowly or subtly? We're now living in a world we're practically bathed in LED lights from our homes, streets, phones, screens, and even alarm clocks. And while we might not see the dramatic effects right away, like with the flies, that doesn't mean it's not having an impact on our body, sleep, or long-term health. So is this another case of science raising the alarm too late, or just a freak result that doesn't mean much to us? I'll let you guys decide on that. A woman lit a candle and placed it near a hanging ball of clothes, and what happened next was truly eerie. A face appeared on the fabric. You can make out the shape of eyes, nose, mouth, and even what looks like hair. The face seems to have its eyes closed, almost as if it's resting. There's no context given in the footage, so it's unclear where the clothes came from or if there's any background to this strange occurrence. But what do you think? Could this be just a coincidence, a trick of light and shadows, or is there something more mysterious at play here? A man stumbled upon a random egg lying on the ground in tiny stones and sand. As he reached out to pick it up, he noticed something eerie. There was an eye staring back at him from beside the egg. The eye belonged to a massive creature hidden beneath the sand, watching his every move. The man froze, realizing that whatever this creature was, it was far from ordinary. Now everyone is baffled. Some believe it could be a crocodile, while others think it might be just some kind of bird. But with only the eye visible, it's hard to tell what kind of animal this is. What do you think? Could this mysterious creature be guarding its egg, or is it something entirely different? How deeply do you sleep at night? Because after hearing this story, you might start checking your locks twice. A woman woke up one morning and realized that some of her belongings were missing, so she went straight to check her security footage, and what she found shocked not just her but everyone who saw it. A burglar had broken into her home during the night, fully covered from head to toe. His intention was to get in, grab what he couldn't get out, but something unexpected happened. When he stepped into her bedroom, he found her lying there completely naked and fast asleep. Instead of carrying on with this theft, the man stood there staring. He was so distracted by her body that he just stood in the room silently watching her as she slept. He stood there for quite a while before finally snapping out of it, grabbing a few items and quietly slipping away. And she slept through the entire thing. Thankfully, she wasn't harmed, but the whole situation could have ended very differently. We've got another strange sighting in the sky, and this time it's happened over the ocean. As the sun was setting, someone noticed something odd. The sky had that golden glow you get just before it fades into the night, but right in the middle of that last patch of light was a strange silhouette. Now, we know what airplanes and helicopters look like, and this was definitely not one of them. And it clearly wasn't a person or drone either. It was too high, too still, and just too weird. So what exactly are we looking at here? Is this some kind of unidentified tech, or could it be something we're not meant to understand? Because the more we see these strange shapes in the sky, the harder it is to believe they're just mere coincidences. While walking through the woods, a man reported hearing strange noises coming from nearby. Curious, he decided to follow the sounds, leading him to a large tree. As he got closer, he realized the noises were coming from behind the tree. When he cautiously walked around it, he was suddenly confronted by something unexpected. Out from the shadows emerged a tall creature with a reptilian face and a brownish body. The sight startled the man, causing him to panic and run off. Now, looking at the video, the creature appears so odd and out of place that it feels hard to believe it's real. The way it moves and looks almost seems staged, leading many, including myself, to think this could very well be a hoax. But what do you think? A man was trekking through the Cambodian jungle when he stumbled upon a peculiar plant. At first glance, it seemed to be an ordinary flower. It had long, delicate white petals that appeared almost paper thin. Intrigued by its unusual appearance, he brought his palm closer to get a better look. But then something unexpected happened. The white petals suddenly flew off the plant into the air. What just happened? Was it some kind of insect disguised as a flower, or were their strange white shapes actually a part of the plant? Has anyone seen anything like this before? How far will people go just for a thrill? A man filmed himself lying under a moving train while it was passing directly over him. It's one of the most reckless stunts we've seen in a while. He was lucky. The train happened to be just high enough off the tracks for him to fit. But there were 1,000 ways this could have gone horribly wrong. The space between him and the undercarriage was razor thin. One wrong twitch and he could have been crushed instantly. The wind generated by a moving train is powerful enough to shift your body or suck something into its path, so just a gust in the wrong direction could have pulled him under the wheels. And what if his clothes snagged on one of the passing parts, or if a sudden bump in the track caused the train to drop lower? There are too many variables and zero guarantees that he would walk away from it. To be honest, this is one of the dumbest, most dangerous things anyone could ever attempt. He was lucky, but this kind of luck runs out fast. So if you're watching this thinking it looks cool, don't be fooled. When they say fossils have been found, you usually expect dinosaurs, mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and other massive, impressive creatures that once ruled the Earth. But guess what recently shocked scientists? A fossilized mosquito. Yeah, you heard that right. A tiny, delicate mosquito somehow got preserved in such perfect condition that researchers could still see its structure, and it was fossilized with blood still inside it. This finding sent shockwaves through the scientific community, first because mosquitoes are soft-bodied insects and almost never fossilize this well, and second, the preserved blood inside opened up the possibility of learning more about what creatures were alive back then and what this mosquito might have fed on millions of years ago. It's like a Jurassic Park scene minus the dinosaur resurrection. For now. The creature on your screen was found with a catch made by some fishermen while out fishing. I've looked at the clip over and over and over again. You'd think consistent viewing would bring clarity, but no, it only brings confusion. No one on my team remotely knows what this is. Some of my interns are like, well, it's probably alien, and, well, I can't fault them for thinking so. There are some who also felt it might be an ordinary and everyday sea creature split in half down the middle to give it that appearance. But you guys have seen it too, so what do you think? When we think of the devil, most of us picture that classic image, an ugly, horned figure with a dark and sinister presence. But is that really what he looks like? One man might have seen something that brings that question into focus. He was out for a walk one quiet night passing by a church when something across the street caught his eye. Two shadowy figures were standing near the church wall. One was clearly taller than the other. At first, it just looked strange, unusual, but not alarming. Then a car drove by, and in that instant, the shadows disappeared, gone, as if they were never there. But the detail that really sends a chill is what you see just before they vanish. If you take a closer look, both figures appear to have horns. These were not the shapes of animals, and they definitely did not match the form of any person nearby. And the fact that this happened right next to a church, well, that's what really spooked people online. Some believe the man may have witnessed the silhouettes of demons, entities not meant to be seen. So what do you think? Just a trick of the light, or something darker? This woman was out in the woods, taking a walk with her dog, when she suddenly started to feel uneasy. You know that strange feeling you get when something isn't right? Well, that's exactly what she said hit her. She took out her phone and began recording, just in case, and then she noticed something up ahead in the path. There, in the distance, was a tall, dark figure. It looked like it was moving slowly toward her, walking like a person. She was alarmed, but she didn't panic. Instead, she calmly turned around and walked her dog back home. But by the time she got back, she was visibly shaken. She said she couldn't make out exactly what it was, but it wasn't human and wasn't exactly like any animal she'd seen before either. Some people are speculating that it could be a cryptid. What do you think she saw? Lately, there's been a disturbing rise in stories about organ harvesting, and it's honestly terrifying. These stories keep surfacing, and if anything, it feels like the problem is getting worse. Back in 2021, there was a case in Kentucky. A man had overdosed and fallen into a coma. The doctors said he had a high chance of waking up, but while he was still on life support, something disturbing happened. A private organ donor company allegedly started pressuring his family to pull the plug and donate his organs. Luckily, he woke up right before the procedure was about to begin. But even then, the team reportedly tried to continue. It took the family stepping in and putting their foot down to stop the whole thing. Since then, multiple people who worked in similar private donation companies have come out to say this kind of pressure on families, especially those with loved ones in comas, is not uncommon, and it's sickening. We have to be vigilant. Organ donation is a noble thing, but not when it's being rushed or forced while someone still has a chance to live. Be careful out there. Would you prefer to buy a house or build one from scratch yourself? If you said buy, then this clip is for you. The clip was uploaded to Reddit by an individual who just bought a house. According to him, they found this piece of paper one day hidden in one of the cabinets, and it had some text on it. The text read, "Do not look under the floor." As if this was not weird enough, they found some strange numbers written behind the piece of paper. Naturally, they were freaked out by the whole thing and uploaded it online asking if anyone knew what it was. Some members of the paranormal community asked them to be careful and move out if they could. Others felt it might be a copy of a library card or something like that. There were a few who also felt it might be an intentional yet expensive joke by previous owners to spook new buyers. While discovering it was just a prank would have been a relief, some commenters weren't so convinced. A few even suggested tearing up the floors to make sure there was nothing hidden underneath. Honestly, it sounds plausible. Who knew what could be down there? But then again, who's footing the bill to repair the place once the investigation's over? And what if, after all that effort, they find absolutely nothing? Here we have a video that was shared online, and it looks like it captured a real UFO sighting. In the clip, you can see a disc-shaped object hovering high in the sky. It's pretty far away, so while we can make out its general shape, a classic flying saucer style, we can't really see any specific details or markings. The way it moves, combined with how it still seems to hover for a moment before shifting slightly, has people talking. Some believe it's a UFO, not necessarily aliens, but something not easily explained. Others think it might just be a drone or even a weather balloon. But the disc-like appearance is what really has people curious. The shape, distance, and smooth motion all point to something a bit out of the ordinary. So what do you think? Could this be just another aircraft, or did someone accidentally capture something otherworldly? Scientists have made a shocking discovery that could reshape the entire African continent as we know it. Deep beneath eastern Africa, a massive crack is forming, and geologists believe this could be the birth of a brand new ocean. It sounds fascinating, but it's real, and it's not exactly good news. This rift is part of what's known as the East African Rift System. Over time, tectonic plates beneath the surface are slowly pulling apart, and as they separate, they create space for water to rush in. If this continues, experts believe Africa could eventually split into two land masses, with a whole new ocean forming between them. Right now, the crack is visible in places like Ethiopia and Kenya, and is growing slowly. This process could take millions of years to fully unfold, but the fact that it's happening at all is both mind-blowing and a little terrifying. I can't help but wonder if this could lead to the rise of a new continent or become the catalyst for massive geological changes. Maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but what do you guys think? A trail camera picked up something really strange deep in the forest, and people aren't quite sure what to make of it. In the footage, we see what looks like a hairy creature standing upright. It's not human-sized, which already makes this pretty unsettling. Now here is where it gets even weirder. Its round eyes glowed in the camera light. At first glance, you might think it's a raccoon, but this thing doesn't move like a raccoon. It doesn't even look like one. It's more like a raccoon-sized animal stretched into a human shape, but covered in thick, dark fur. So what exactly are we looking at here? Some are saying it could be a new species, maybe even a misidentified cryptid. Others think it might be a fake. But what do you think? Just a few days ago, on April 25th, 2025, a massive power outage was reported across parts of Europe. It caused panic in several areas, with people stuck in elevators, traffic systems stalling, and entire neighborhoods plunged into darkness. But almost immediately, conspiracy theories began to surface. Many people pointed out that this isn't the first time something like this has happened, and every time it does, it feels like there's more going on than what we're told. According to some theorists, these kinds of blackouts might not be random at all. Instead, they believe events like these are deliberate tests to monitor how populations react under sudden stress. Some even go as far as suggesting that everything from wars to disasters is orchestrated by powerful hidden groups to study human behavior or control global events. In this theory, the blackout wasn't just an accident or a technical glitch, it was a way to simulate a collapse scenario and gather data. What's also strange is that some people still had access to digital systems during the outage. Essential services like banks, hospitals, and government systems have generators that back up systems. Others find it suspicious that certain devices and networks stayed operational while others didn't. So was this blackout a real infrastructural failure, or was it a planned simulation? Take a good look at the coffin in this clip. Notice anything different? No? Well, take a good second look. See it now. There's something coming out of the coffin around where the kid's hand is. Well, that's not normal now, is it? The one who was filming noticed it while reviewing the clip and was shaken. He uploaded it hoping someone could help him find answers. As much as I would love to help, I don't have a lot of experience with coffins. Thank God. Frankly, I don't want to. Not to talk of something coming out of it while I'm holding it. Does any of you know what's going on here? Can you help us understand? Believe it or not, there are several pieces of evidence out there suggesting that time travel might actually be real. And we might already have the technology within us to even know about it. So let's take you back to the 1980s. There was a live broadcast of a large crowd event. Nothing out of the ordinary at first, just people gathered, cheering, waving. But then the camera panned across a group and something bizarre stood out. there was a woman holding what looked like a smartphone, filming whatever was happening in front of her. You can even see a girl standing next to her, clearly looking at the screen in curiosity. But here's the thing. In the 1980s, well, we know there were no smartphones. Touchscreen phones didn't hit the market until around 2006, and even back then, they were clunky, expensive, and very rare. So was this actual footage of a time traveler caught on live TV? Some skeptics say it's just a portable radio or an old-school camera. Others believe this could be the smoking gun that proves time travel is not only possible, but already happening. There's also the AI and CGI people, but, well, what do you think? Someone recently shared footage of something very strange they spotted in the sky. It was this long, tube-like object slowly rotating in the air. It just hovered there almost like it was holding its position deliberately. So people are confused. Some think it might be a piece of space debris just floating down, but it didn't behave like something was falling. Others believe it could be some kind of new tech, maybe a surveillance device, an experimental drone, or even part of a government project. But then there's the other side of the internet saying what we're all thinking, UFO. It wouldn't be the first time something strange has been spotted in the skies with no clear explanation, so what do you think? Recently, the world was shaken by the announcement of the Pope's passing. This is a major global event, not just for the religious world, but for global influence as a whole. But what's stirring up even more noise is what's surfacing in the wake of his death, footage that some believe isn't entirely real. Two clips in particular have captured the attention of the internet, especially within conspiracy and paranormal circles. In the first clip, the Pope is seen seated in a chair, being wheeled through a hallway with his hands resting calmly on his lap. But then something strange happens. A third hand briefly appears as he moves. In the second clip, his hands appear merged together in a way that doesn't look humanly possible, almost like they've been glitched into one another. Now, these aren't the kind of mistakes that typically show up in raw video footage, but they do show up in AI-generated content, especially with hands. Anyone who's played around with AI image or video generation knows that AI still struggles with hands. That's always been a giveaway. So the theory is that the Pope may have passed away much earlier, and these appearances we've been shown, especially around Easter, were just deep fakes to preserve the illusion of his continued presence until the right time to announce his passing. But why delay it? Maybe we needed him alive on paper for something to proceed publicly, and now that it's done, they made the announcement. Could it all just be a video glitch? Well, sure, but these oddities line up too well with the known quirks of AI. So what is really going on out there? Here we have footage shared by a man who noticed something unusual crawling all over his pool equipment. Upon closer inspection, he found tiny bright red insects walking across the surface. At first glance, they looked like termites, but they weren't. These little creatures are likely what people commonly refer to as clover mites. If that's the case, there's no need to panic. Clover mites are harmless to humans and pets. They don't bite, sting, or cause structural damage like termites. However, they can be a nuisance, especially in large numbers, and they tend to leave red smears when crushed, which can stain surfaces. They're most active in the cooler parts of spring and fall and are often seen near windows, siding, or outdoor equipment like in this case. So while it might look a bit creepy seeing them swarm all over your stuff, there's no cause for alarm. It's just maybe time to do a little seasonal pest control. We have here a strange piece of surveillance footage, and it's left a lot of people scratching their heads. According to the homeowner, something bizarre showed up on their monitor late at night. It happened right in front of their house. At first, it looked like two stray dogs had emerged from the darkness and were moving around the front of their home. But when you look closely at the footage, something doesn't add up. The dogs appear to take form from a strange, shadowy mass. You can see what looks like two pairs of glowing eyes emerging from this fluid, dark shape, and then slowly morphing into the shape of a dog. The homeowner was understandably disturbed. They weren't sure what they were looking at, neither are we. Some people think it's just edited footage, but others believe this might be something more, possibly a shape-shifting creature, a skinwalker, or even something spiritual manifesting itself in animal form. It's eerie, and no matter what you believe, the footage is bizarre. So what do you think? This eerie photograph was taken by a family who had gone to a cemetery to pay respects to a loved one. But instead of finding peace, they captured something deeply unsettling. From a distance, they noticed what looked like the silhouette of a humanoid figure floating over a grave. The figure had one hand resting at its side, while its head seemed to be bowed, gazing down at the grave below. They took another photograph of it, and that's when things got even stranger. In the second image, the figure had moved. Now it looked even less human. It appeared to have horns, a tail, and one hand raised over the grave, almost like it was reaching out or performing some kind of ritual. The entire posture and appearance of the thing felt unnatural. Some who've seen the image claim it looks like the devil himself coming to collect a soul. Others brush it off as a hoax, but the original poster insists the photo is real. So the question remains, what did they see that day in the cemetery? What if the stars were watching us? Rupert Sheldrake, a scientist with a PhD in biochemistry, believes something truly mind-bending. He suggests that the sun and maybe every star in the universe is not just a burning ball of gas, but something far more mysterious. He thinks they might be conscious, like living parts of a giant mind that stretches across the galaxy. Imagine each star as a single point in a massive cosmic brain working together like the neurons in your own mind. At first, it might sound like pure science fiction, but when you look at theories in fractal geometry, things get even more intriguing. These theories show that nature often repeats itself in patterns. A small branch can look like an entire tree. A tiny part of a coastline can mimic the shape of the whole shore. This idea of self-similarity suggests that the universe might be built on repeating patterns from the smallest scales to the largest. So what if our brains are just tiny versions of something much bigger? What if the way we think is a reflection of how the universe thinks? And then comes the question that lingers like a whisper in the dark. If the universe is alive and aware, what does it think about us? Are we just another thought passing through its endless mind, or something more? Someone recently shared leaked footage that was said to have been taken by troops stationed in Afghanistan. The soldiers were out in the remote mountains during their patrol when something unusual flew overhead. What they captured on camera was a triangular-shaped craft silently gliding across the sky. The shape and movement didn't match any known aircraft, and the troops reportedly believed it could be a UFO. Given the isolated location, the lack of sound, and the craft's strange appearance, it sparked a lot of conversation online. Some think it might be experimental military technology, while others are convinced it's something not of this world. What do you think? Secret government tech or a genuine unidentified flying object? This was recently captured by a resident in Chiang Mai, Thailand. In the footage, there's this dark black object in the clouds. Part of it is hidden behind the cloud, but what's visible is not even something we can identify. In this day and age, it's getting harder to tell what we're really seeing. Is it a UFO? Could it be some kind of secret military technology, or maybe even a surveillance device that wasn't properly cloaked? Whatever it is, it doesn't look like a drone or any regular aircraft. The shape is off, the movement is too still, and the fact that it blends partially into the clouds makes it feel like it wasn't meant to be seen at all. Skeptics argue that it's just a weather balloon, but others are convinced that something strange is going on. The theories are numerous, but you've seen the clip, so what do you think's going on here? What exactly are we looking at here? Someone shared this video of a strange prehistoric-looking fish surfacing from the water. It slowly swims up, then suddenly water shoots from the top of its head like a fountain, like a whale's blowhole. But this creature doesn't look like a whale. It's smaller, almost the size of an adult dolphin, and its body has this strange misty color and swirling patterns all over it. For a second, it genuinely looks like something from prehistoric times. Turns out it might actually be a baby whale, but even that hasn't fully been confirmed. Some are saying it's a rare species not often seen. Others think it might be something entirely new. Whatever it is, it's definitely not something we've ever been used to seeing. So what do you think this creature is? We've always been told that Antarctica is a frozen, lifeless continent covered in ice for millions of years. But what if that's not the whole truth? Recently, an old map believed to be over 500 years old resurfaced, and it shows something shocking. Antarctica is not covered in ice at all, but instead appears lush, green, and full of life. The land is drawn in detail, with mountains, rivers, and even animals, some of which look suspiciously like dinosaurs or dragons. But this map predates the official discovery of Antarctica. So how did someone draw it so accurately and with features that we never knew existed until modern satellite imaging? Some claim it's proof that history has been edited, or that ancient advanced civilizations once roamed Antarctica. Others say it's simply misinterpreted art from imagination. What do you think? Next, we've got a truly unsettling encounter here, one that has the internet buzzing with all kinds of theories. A young woman was home alone one night, just relaxing with her cats, when she noticed something strange. All her cats at once moved toward the window, fixating on something outside. You know how animals can sense things before we do, right? So she got curious and walked over to the window to see what their attention was on. That's when she saw it. Outside the window was a bird. Well, nothing too odd there at first. It had its back to the glass, wings spread open as if it was trying to dry them or maybe caught in some sort of trance. But just ahead of the bird, further into the darkness, she spotted something else. She snapped a photograph, and in that picture you can clearly see a pair of glowing eyes, not animal-like, not reflective like a raccoon's or cat's. They were perfectly round and spaced apart, floating eerily in the dark. Some people online are calling it a night demon, saying the bird may have been caught or lured there like a decoy. Others say maybe it was just a strange animal or maybe a person, but even then, the shape and glow of the eyes don't match anything ordinary. What's even more chilling is that the figure around the eyes doesn't look like a normal human or animal silhouette. It's off. Some describe it as humanoid, but not quite. Others think the creature was watching both the girl and the bird, a sort of standoff between predator, prey, and witness. Take a good look at the image for yourself. What do you think was really out there in the dark? I've always said not to mess with a Ouija board, and if you've ever wondered why, well, this clip might just be your answer. These two women were using a Ouija board, casually asking questions and giggling like it was just a game. Everything seemed fine until viewers noticed something strange happening on the side of the table. At first it looked like the board was just moving from the breeze of a fan nearby, but then it lifts like someone picked it up, but there was no one there. That's the moment one of the women noticed too. You can see her freeze, eyes wide. It's like she suddenly felt something wasn't right anymore. Whatever playful energy was in the room shifted fast. Ouija boards are not toys, people. A lot of people think it's just for fun, but stories like this are the reason people weren't against them. People, you might think you're having fun, but you never know who or what is actually listening. A family who traveled to Africa and was enjoying a late-night dinner to celebrate a birthday. It was supposed to be a simple, joyful night with great food, laughter, and memories. Like most people, they decided to snap a photograph to remember the moment. Now, take a look at the end of the table. There's something, or rather someone, standing there. A ghostly figure, almost translucent, staring directly into the camera. The figure appeared to have long black hair and was dressed in a white robe, like an old-fashioned nightgown. What's even more unsettling is that it looked like a white person, which was a little bit surprising considering the family was deep in a remote, wooded part of Africa. So who or what was that? Could this be the spirit of someone connected to the family or attached to one of them? I guess we'll never really know for sure. This next clip is one of those eerie moments where something unsettling creeps into an otherwise normal scene, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The footage appears to be from a casual family gathering. People are standing around, chatting and laughing. Everything feels completely ordinary at first, but then you notice her, a woman with short hair standing near the back of the group. Right behind her, almost pressed against her shoulder, is something off. A pale face, faint at first glance, like it doesn't belong. You might dismiss it as a trick of the light, or maybe someone else standing just out of frame, but then the woman shifts her head and the face changes. Not in a way a person would. It morphs once, then again into what looks like three separate faces, with each one paler, more distorted, and more inhuman than the last. And those eyes, dark, empty, and locked straight ahead. They don't blink, they don't move, they just stare. The family who filmed it didn't notice anything unusual about the time, but when they watched it back, they were reportedly shaken by what they saw. Some say it's a spirit attached to someone in the group, others talk about shapeshifters or mimics. No one really knows. And maybe that's the most disturbing part. You're left with no explanation, just a lingering sense that something isn't right. We've all heard of the infamous Chernobyl incident, a catastrophic nuclear disaster that left the area around it abandoned and bathed in radiation. Because of the lingering effects, many strange and mutated creatures have reportedly been spotted in and around the exclusion zone, some of which have been caught on camera and blamed on long-term exposure to radiation. Now, someone recently shared this piece of eerie footage that they claim comes straight from Chernobyl. It shows a strange-looking creature crawling awkwardly across the ground. It appears to have patches of brown fur, though some areas look bald or worn away as if affected by some kind of disease or mutation. The way it moves is unsettling. It's not quite animal-like, almost unnatural. Its head is bent downward, making it hard to tell exactly what kind of creature it is. Some viewers think it's just a malnourished wolf, while others say it looks more like a stray dog suffering from a skin condition. But if this was really filmed in Chernobyl, there's also the possibility that it could be a radiation-mutated animal deformed by exposure. So your thoughts? Is this a rare case of mutation, or is it simply a sick animal caught in the wrong place at the wrong time? Back in the day, monks were seen as some of the holiest people you could ever come across. Even now, many still hold them in high regard as symbols of peace, discipline, and spiritual purity. But something very strange happened in Thailand that's left a lot of people questioning everything. The police were tipped off by locals who said something didn't feel right about one particular temple. So they launched a raid, And what they found was beyond shocking. Out of 18 monks living at the temple, 6 of them tested positive for meth. Yeah, you heard that right, methamphetamine. These weren't just everyday folks, they were supposed to be holy men, but it didn't stop there. Authorities discovered hidden firearms and other suspicious items tucked away on the temple grounds. Some even had these weapons on them in their wraps. But what were they preparing for while in the temple? The monks who tested positive were immediately sent to rehab, and officials are now trying to get to the bottom of this strange case. Bizarre, I know, but it is what it is. Some new updates in the world of invention and artificial intelligence, and honestly, this one sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie. It was recently announced that AI has created a brand new material which is lighter than foam but stronger than steel. Yeah, you heard that right. Something softer and lighter than what you'd use to pack a box, but tougher than the metal used to build skyscrapers. This is impressive and a little terrifying. Imagine what this kind of material could be used for. Military tech, space exploration, high-performance armor, or even robots that are nearly indestructible. It sounds like the beginning of the Terminator storyline, doesn't it? We're heading into some seriously advanced territory. The question is, how long before AI goes from creating super materials to creating something we can't control? Can trees walk? No, wait, let me rephrase that. Have you ever seen a tree walk? If your answer was 0, then it's only because you haven't seen this clip.
Para los que estaban preguntando.
You see it now, don't you? We don't exactly get the chance to see its roots, but we can see the top of the tree. It appears to be moving from one point to another. It's almost as though it didn't like where it was being planted and left in search of greener pastures. Some also felt someone might have been moving it, either a lumber company using heavy machinery or Bigfoot casually carrying the tree on its shoulders. While the last hypothesis is a sight I would pay to see. Either way, what do you guys think we're dealing with here?
Para los que estaban preguntando.
No way! Oh, man! That's the coolest thing ever. Now, these little guys are just incredible. How did she throw it so far in the air? I mean, could that be AI? I mean, these things do exist. We know they actually exist, but how far she's flinging him in the air? Better than a boomerang. With that, we end today's episode. Thank you very much. If you got any videos or anything that you can send us, classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We will stick it in one of our episodes and we'll even mention you if that's what you want. I've been Steve, and this has been your dose of classified captures for this episode. Now, do me a favor, would you? Share this with as many people as you can, and I'll see you in the next one.